So, good afternoon, everyone, and a very hearty welcome to each one of you to this very special session of Tuesday gatherings. As is our tradition, we begin with a prayer and we pray to the Guru Principle, asking for grace, because without grace, things cannot be brought to completion in a beautiful way. So, just bring your palms together. Become aware of your breathing and take a few moments to really settle yourself. Find the space in the heart which is the center of your being, where the incoming breath dissolves and from where the outgoing breath starts. So, getting rooted in that space, let us pray to the Guru Principle. Om अखण्डमण्डलाकारम् व्याप्तं येन चराचरम् तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरुवे नमः। Having invited grace of the Guru Principle that is operating through many forms, both alive and transcendental, let us enter into this session of ours. It's a matter of great joy for each one of us that we have with us dear Vidya. She is young in years, as you can see, but she is a remarkable young lady who has really shown tremendous resilience and ability to overcome challenges. There are many who overcome worldly challenges, but there are the rare ones who have grace flowing in their lives, because of which what cannot be known is known. And this world and the activities they undertake in this world becomes a process of inner exploration It becomes an aid to finding their mission in life and do something which nobody else has done, so that there is fulfillment both on the outside and on the inside. And Vidya is such a rare personality. So we are very pleased to have you with us, dear Vidya. And we hope to hear from you about your achievements or how you have negotiated through the challenges in life and made these challenges a stepping stone to going within and finding that which brings fruition to every aspect of life. So this platform is yours, Vidya, and you're most welcome. We are so pleased to have you with us. So you have to unmute yourself before you start speaking.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Can you be a little louder?
Yeah. Is it better now?
I think it is better, yes. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for having me on this forum. And whenever I give a talk, it so happens that I share some or the other spiritual insight, but it's for the general audience. So somehow or the other, I'll have to package it and share the same insights in a different way. But today is the first time I'm getting a chance to talk in a spiritual gathering, and I'm extremely happy that I can share my spiritual journey here. So, today in this talk, what I thought of sharing is about how grace has transformed my life. So, initially, how there were challenges, and once I met the spiritual masters, how grace has transformed my life, and also as my masters have taught me that I need to focus both on inner and outer growth. I'm on the way to walking that path as well. And at the end, if there's time, then we have a video which we can watch. So, to talk a bit about my early life, I was born in a village which is on the outskirts of Bangalore. And when I was born, I was a premature child. So, I was born in the 7th month itself. And my parents were waiting for me actually for 6 years. So after marriage, they had a child after 6 years, and I was the first child. And I was so much underweight that the doctors had to put me in an incubator, which meant that my parents got to hold me only after 3 months. So survival itself was a grace initially for me. No one thought that I even be able to survive. So after my mom and dad took me home, then they started realizing that I was not responding to any visual cues after a month or two. Then it was 5 or 6 months. So then I was not responding to any visual cues. So my mom had a doubt that something's wrong. So they took me to the family doctor, and that doctor suggested that here it's not going to work out and we need to visit ophthalmologist. And finally, the initial first few years actually went in trying to restore my eyesight as everyone looks for a cure. And finally, it was diagnosed that I will never be able to see unless and until something else comes up. A lot of technological advancements happen, and artificially, I can see. So, this was not really easy for my parents to accept because it was a village and there was a lot of stigma about people with disabilities. In villages, there's stigma like disability is considered a curse and lot of other things. So, in fact, I know so many people. There's one lady who stays close by. So she's 50, I think now. So she has never come out of house, even generally, if there's only something that is urgent, then she comes up. So it's that kind of a situation. And for me, the first ray of hope came from the ophthalmologist itself, because the doctor who operated my eye, she said that you have anyway named her Vidya, so why don't you give her the best education? So that's the first ray of hope that even my parents got. Till then, okay, they didn't even think that I could study. And next 2 years I spent at home, because they knew that they have to educate me. Now, those days there was internet and all of it, but in villages, um, it was not very much known or available. So the first divine intervention that happened in my life in terms of education was, once there was one of my neighbor, and then he saw something written on a vehicle. It was Assisi Charitable Center for the Disabled. Because there was this word disabled, so he thought, okay, it might help, because he already knew me. Then he started following uh, that vehicle for 15 kilometers, and then it took him to an institution which had which was a vocational training center for people with and without disability. And fortunately for me, it was not a school, but there was just one person who knew Braille. So Braille is a script which visually impaired people used to read and write. So just one person in the whole group knew it, and so she said she'll teach me, and the next 2 years continued that way. My parents decided to take me every day. And then they forced my parents to enroll me into formal school, and I joined school only in grade 2. That was very much away from home. It was about 60 kilometers away from home, because there are no blind schools outside the city. You can go to a regular school, but when there are no resources and people don't know what to do, then naturally many people go to blind school. So I went to that school. And fortunately, because I had learned Braille in the initial years, they took me to grade 2. But otherwise, what happens is children come to school when it's too late, when they're 9 or 10, and then they go to preschool because already foundational skills are missing. And for me, this is the time I started realizing the psychological issues that were happening to me, because I had to stay in the hostel. Then this is the first time I felt that, somehow the feeling of not getting enough love, because I stayed in the hostel. So somehow it continued till 7th grade. I did well in school. And for 8th grade, I decided to shift to a regular school. So we went from school to school asking admission, but there were really basic questions like, okay, what would you do if you want to go to the bathroom, and things like that. At that time, I was not capable of standing up for myself, not even speaking up. So I ended up crying in most of the interviews. And finally, because no school was taking me, my father knew one principal. That time we had shifted to a town, and so I joined a school which was in my town itself. And so in terms of education, when I went to the class, first time I started noticing that the teacher is drawing something on the board, and then it was a science class. Then she says, look, these are the parts of a cell. This is lysosome, this is ribosome, this is mitochondria. I could only hear the chalk and nothing else. I just could learn something like mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, nothing else. And when it came to math classes, it was worse. The teacher points at something and says, look, now I'm multiplying these two and you get 20. Now I would start wondering, what did she multiply? Is it 10 and 2 or 4 and 5? Now, when the whole math has to be done just by listening, forget anything else. There are no textbooks also that was available for me. There were a couple of books in Braille, but Braille has its own limitation. You cannot draw diagrams and all using Braille. And so that was like a major issue. And when I told it to people that this is the issue, they said, why don't you shift to humanities or other streams, which anyway blind students have an option of doing it? Why do you want to do it? So I said, no, I will do it because I like these subjects. I enjoyed math and science more than social studies. That was the only reason why I wanted to continue. Anyway, we decided to take a lot of help outside because at home, my parents had studied only till grade 10. So academically, they couldn't help me. But they helped me in all other ways, to find the teacher and get extra classes and all of that. So this was in terms of education, but in terms of you know um, more emotional issues that had come up, I started imposing some limitations onto myself that I cannot do things like others. Everyone's going to play, so I cannot go. I'll sit in the class. Now every school excursion that's there, I'm not going to attend. And even I had so much suffocation because I had to depend on someone or the other for each and everything. So at that time, it was something like, I will not ask anybody, but I'll not go to the washroom, something like that. You know, that kind of emotional issues along with academic issues, and things got worse. So the first turning point for me came in 10th grade when I scored really good marks with math and science. So that was the first time someone had secured that kind of marks with math and science. So there was a lot of media coverage and all of that. And that was actually a turning point for my family because till then they would ask my parents, you have a blind child, what are you going to do with her? At least after that, people started telling, okay, she can study well. So all of these issues happened, and after this, again at every stage, right from the beginning, only there was grace. But I started noticing all of these and connecting the dots only when I formally came to the spiritual path. But now, when you get good marks, you want to go to good college. That generally all students will have that dream. So naturally, when I had got 95%, and the cutoff in my college was in one of the best colleges in Bangalore was say about 92, I guess. And then I wanted to join that college. So my parents said, who is going to take you every day? So you would join one of the colleges in the village itself. I said, no way, I can't study here. I want to go there. But then I thought I'm almost going to give up that dream now because it's anyway not going to happen. But as divine intervention again happened, there was again one girl who would stay next to my house itself. And then she visited us. We had never spoken to her, but she visited us that day and she said, I have missed this college with a little bit of cutoff, little lower marks than the cutoff. So, can something be done? So, we decided to go to the college and speak to the college authorities and figure out if there's any way. We said, she'll take me every day, and since it's a little lesser than the cutoff, if something can be done. So they gave us admission for both of us, and then for the next 2 years, she took me every day. We would go in the bus and come back in the bus. And here's when in so this was entirely different. Again, I continued with math with 97 students. Any teacher cannot give any student personal attention, though. So challenges got worse. But in 12th grade, there was one major challenge that I had to take my board exams, and they would first of all give us juniors who would write the exam. So when it comes now to calculus, for example, you have to solve however big the equation is, you have to solve it orally, which means it's going to get difficult. And any diagram that comes up, you have to explain it orally. That was the first time in Karnataka any blind student wanted to study math. So there were no policies in place. And then it so happened that I had to write several letters to the education ministry and get 1 hour extra time. Finally, after so much of struggle, it happened, and they gave me 1 hour extra time. So that battle actually led to change of policies, not only for me, but afterwards, whoever would come to study, even for all of them, they changed the rules. So that was the first time there was some. I started noticing that okay, challenges also have something maybe to contribute, but it was not very. The understanding was not very stable at that time. So the next 3 years were the most difficult period of my life. actually in terms of education, because this time it was computer science course. It's not that, this I took this course by choice. Actually, people told don't take it, but then I took it, and now I don't know why. But now looking at the work, at least if I wouldn't study all of these, I wouldn't be able to contribute to the work that we are doing now. But those days, when the computer science course, really college was just I would go, sit down, come back. It's not one or two subjects I'm talking about. Every subject had so many diagrams. Everything was done on the computer. Everything needs vision. And it was emotionally very draining. But also, I have to say that though situation got really tough, one or the other way, I would get some or the other help always, because there were some volunteers, a lot of tutors who would teach me after classes, and that's why I was able to learn. But this is the first time I started developing this death urge that I didn't have any intention to live. So I started feeling worthless, and my mental health started deteriorating more and more. And later on, again through divine intervention, my cousin Murli's help, I didn't even know that there's a college called Triple IT Bangalore. It's one of the best colleges in India. So finally, because of everybody's help, I joined this college. And after 2 years, I actually had topped my class and got a gold medal. But as it's an irony that everyone else in my class got jobs and I didn't get any job. So imagine putting in 100 times more effort than everybody else throughout, and this thing happening at that stage. So uh, it seemed like, okay, this is the end. Now nothing is going to happen. This is what I thought. By then I had also worked at Microsoft, but now people were telling me, why don't you take up jobs like telephone operator? Then I said, then for that I didn't have to study this much. I don't want to do it. So uh, already I had depression for 4 years, and that time it got worse. It was that worse when I would um, just sleep the whole day, just lie down the whole day. I would There's so many thoughts and emotions on in the day and in the night, so I couldn't sleep well. I had constant tiredness, and it was that depressing uh, time. It was the peak of depression, I should say. And at the same time, this was in terms of job and college and all of that. Now at the same time, that's the first time when anybody talks about uh, the topic of marriage, and all of that also comes up. Now there are lots of conditioning that are there in the society. So people will tell you, like anything else, who would get married to a person with a disability? You'll have to find somebody whom no one is able to find. I mean, who is not able to find anyone, so you will have to find someone like that, and so many other things. So even personally, nothing seemed to be working out. Like, till then I had not concentrated in anything but academics, and now all of these really, my mental health started deteriorating. And one day I remember, praying so intensely than ever before. And after that, I just remember, praying so much. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, one random thought came to me that, okay, why should I just go ask everybody job? Okay, anyway, people are not giving me the job that I deserve, so I will not ask for a job. Let me think of starting something by myself. At least let me think of it. Then the obvious choice for me was, okay, I will start something to make STEM education. As I told you, all these challenges were there. So I'll make STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math education accessible for school going children with visual impairment. Now, talking about these statistics, we have millions of visually impaired students in India. 1/3 of the world's blind population is in India. And even 20 students have not studied math beyond high school. So that's the kind of scenario that's happening. So then I went to my professor and spoke to him. Then he said, okay, why don't you start something? And who I can't run everything by myself. That was also there. So then he said, I'll connect you to somebody called Supriya. We'll talk to her. She was 30 years senior to me. but she had also come to study after 20-25 years of corporate career. Then she decided, okay, she said, give me a week's time. And then she decided, okay, now we will start something together. And that's why we started Vision Empower. And since then, now after 5.5 years, it's going really well because it's a part of my life mission. And we are working in about 12 states with over 100 schools. So that's going really well. Now, because at that time I was going through so much emotional mess, so she said, okay, I have a batchmate, and his name is, she said his spiritual name is Rishi Pragyanan Anubhuti. So he is coming to Bangalore, and do you want to meet him? We'll see if there is anything that can be done for some of these issues. Then really I thought it's something like self-help kind of a thing, because I had read Secret and I read Power of Subconscious Mind. I tried out things before. Simply accidentally I just came across these things, but things were not working. But I said, okay, anyway, nothing is working in any area of my life, so why not give it a try? I said, if you yourself take me there, then I'm coming. Then she said, okay. And I didn't go for the camp, and then I went and I met. So he's my guru, and we call him RPA. So he is Guruji Dr. Premji Nirmal, his disciple, his student. So the first time when I went over there, really I didn't know the concept of a guru and anything. I started calling sir. So even now I have practice of calling him sir only. So then I met sir, and then he taught me, some exercises, some belly breathing exercises that will increase vibration. And he said, you try this and little bit of meditation. But after leaving, after meeting sir, when I went back home, then I didn't practice it for 5 months. I have no idea why, but I didn't practice it for 5 months. But I was very much connected to RPA always through messages, because that love, which was unconditional, attracted me so much, because first time ever somebody was giving me that much love. And then I started asking. One day, I think sir called me, and then I said, things are not working out, and is there any way I can end my life, and all kinds of things. And then okay, sir said, why? Okay, I've taught you some of these. Now, why don't you start practicing from tomorrow? So I started practicing, and the first or second day when I did 6-step Nirmal Dhyan, which sir had taught me, it somehow felt that familiarity came. It didn't feel that meditation is new. I just felt that I'd left it for a couple of years or something like that. And once I started, there was no looking back, because somehow it felt, okay, this is what I should be doing. What am I doing for all these days? And some of the insights that RPA shared actually transformed my life at that time. Firstly, RPA told me that even if you choose to end your life now, you will come back next life and start the journey from where you left off. So there's nothing that's going to change. So that idea, after that day, it dropped from my system forever. And then I was told that you should come out of this victim mentality, and you should look at it, you should start accepting it, because at the soul level, you only have chosen to go through all of these. And then slowly acceptance started developing, and it was the beginning of the transformation. Along with meditation and these insights, really things started changing. And the next thing that happened is, so I would feel everybody can do so many things, but not me. So I would start comparing myself with one or the other person every time, and that would really bring my vibrancy down. That would bring my vibrations down. So then RPA told me, why are you looking for joy outside? So everything that you need will be found inside. You only start practicing all of these, the techniques that I'm telling, and the understanding that's there. So then I started gradually realizing and stopped comparing myself with other people. And in terms of, till then I would feel that I'm very dependent on everybody. But then the insight again that RPA had shared, really, RPA told me this is, if you're depending on somebody, you're giving an opportunity for somebody to increase their good karma as well. Why don't you look at it from that perspective? But yeah, definitely, if you ask help, maybe you may get, you may not get. But once you start practicing and becoming stronger from within, all these things wouldn't bother you. So many of these things continued for few years, 2.5 years, because we could only meet when sir came to Bangalore. And that time I started realizing, till then I had a problem. If people are not expecting anything out of me, I'd be like, what am I going to do? Everybody has something to do. But that's the time I realized, look, so many people are not getting enough time for spirituality. As householder, you have so many things, you have to cook, you have to do so many things, but here people are not even expecting anything. Imagine all the time for spiritual growth. So then I started uh, actually considering it as a boon, because it was a boon actually. And one fine day during meditation, I started feeling Babaji's presence. So I started feeling vibration in my heart chakra, and then I asked RPA. So he said, it's our Moksha Guru to whom we pray, and it's Mahavatar Babaji. And from then I continuously feel it. So even more love has increased, experience of more and more love has increased over the years. And then I also started feeling other kind of touch kind of sensations, like feather touch or different kind of blessings, that continuous blessings all the time. And then RPA said, it is Mataji. So I pray to them ever since. I call them Babaji Mataji, and I pray to them because their presence is felt always. And at that time, when I got to know about Guruji, Dr. Premji Nirmal, who is my Param Guru, so that time I watched one video. So first I opened the YouTube channel. When I Googled first, I got YouTube link. So when I opened it, there were so many videos. Now I took relationship because that was troubling me quite a lot at that time. So I just listened to the first video, and that kind of love was something that I'd never expected just from the video. There's love in the words, there's love in the gap, there's love, pure love. So it was so overwhelming that I got such deep insights in the very first video. So first thing, Guruji had told that you need to appreciate more and then relationships will change in a big way. And then if you don't judge people, because everyone are on their own soul journey, so there's no need to judge anybody. And so these kind of insights that were really deep, I started implementing, and life started changing in a really big way so soon. So then one video I watched, after that another, after that another. Then except Hindi videos, which I was not able to understand Hindi, so I didn't watch Hindi ones. But 21 point teachings and everything, I watched like all the videos in the YouTube channel. The whole day and night, whenever I got time, I would do this, meditate, work, and listen to all these videos. And I started implementing all that I could. And then I got introduced to Guruma also. Actually, I messaged Guruma once, and initially I would just message, again the same reason. Okay, there's so much love, so let me say, okay, this is happening and that is happening. Really, I didn't focus at that time on the spiritual growth as such. But really, once when I opened the Facebook page and started reading the previous posts, then I read one post, I clearly remember, which I read about forgiveness. So after I read that, it really, like, the forgiveness part, it started being implemented by itself without any effort from my side. So naturally, the past started bothering me lesser and lesser and lesser. Now, when COVID started, Guruji had announced awareness development camp. I got to know, I don't remember how, one of the messages that I saw. And I was waiting for this only because I had heard Guruji say time and again that awareness development is only sadhana that you should be doing. So naturally, I was looking forward to learning that from Guruji, but again the same issue. I am not able to go travel. Somebody will have to take me. And imagine, it felt like Guruji only is coming home when Zoom meetings were announced. That was like a blessing for me. That's the biggest blessing in my life that happened because of COVID. Everything was online. And that time my awareness was something like this. So today, now I would remember that I have to be aware. After 4 or 5 hours, once more I'll remember I have to be aware, and then I'm aware for few seconds. Imagine for those 4 or 5 hours, all the thoughts and emotions would drain my energy, and I really would get tired of it. And I really wanted to learn this awareness development. And Guruji took me to the course, and for those 5 weeks, it was a small course. So I learned all the fundamentals of awareness development, about different levels of awareness and all of that. And also, there was another Enlightened Billionaire series at that time which Guruji was conducting. And some of the sessions, like changing your attitude, even this Guruji had stressed on two things: increasing your awareness and purifying yourself from within. So, attitudinal corrections and all that were part of it. Especially some of the attitudes, like you become friendly with uncertainty, that really changed my life, because I had so much uncertainty that, okay, if there's somebody, for example, if okay for example, my sister, now she sees my mom cook, so she will learn cooking. Now if I want to experiment that, it's not so easy. I have to give it a try and then see if it's working or not. So each and every aspect was so uncertain, and once I practiced this attitude, it helped me immensely. And at the same time, I started so RPA also had this group called VR1 group, where online meetings would happen on a regular basis. I would start transcribing some of those voice messages to text, and that helped me immensely. Again, as I mentioned earlier, also even this time, so many insights they got implemented by themselves. And slowly the communication with Babaji and Mataji also started happening from different dimensions. RPA taught me once how to do it, and then slowly that also started developing. And then in 2021 came the breakthrough course for me, which was the Kashmir Awareness Development and Kashmir Shaivism course, which Guruji and Guruma had announced. So initially, when I would go to the class and sit, I would just sit in the class, but so much of turmoil was starting to happen from inside. So I was not able to sleep for so many nights. On and off I would sleep, but all that I would do is sit down and watch everything that's happening from inside. There's so much anxiety release, and so much release of grief, that sometimes I remember crying straight for 8 hours or so. It's unexpected things were happening, but externally things started rearranging themselves for me, because my sister had 12th grade board exams, and then I got a separate room for myself, and there's so much privacy also. So all of these became easier also. Now, this ADP, this Awareness Development in Kashmir Shaivism, was a breakthrough course because Guruji was teaching so many techniques for awareness development. And at the same time, Guruma was teaching this scripture called Kashmir Shaivism, which actually teaches us from where we have come and where we have to go. Basically, it's the scripture of liberation. And then there were some practices like Ajapa Gayatri, which helped me in a very big way, because that actually helped me to increase the momentum of awareness. No more that thing, as I told you, 4 hours once I'll even remember I have to be aware. That started decreasing, and almost every day I started being aware almost every moment. So slowly with Ajapa Gayatri practice that happened. And also the understanding, we exactly get to know where we are stuck because of the understanding that came in Kashmir Shaivism scripture. So I started realizing what all limitations that we can impose. We started learning about panchakanchakas and all of that. So then I started realizing that these are all simply uh, limitations that I have imposed onto myself, certain attachments that are there, and so many things I have only imposed onto myself. And the continuous reminder that was happening always that I am Shiva, that actually helped in strengthening the awareness more and more and sustaining that state. And Guruji also would give so many techniques. Actually, awareness development happened slowly because it was taught in a very systematic way, and it was 1 year course. So that was really the transformational course for me, because Guruji taught us something like multi-point awareness, which is one level of awareness where you have to be aware of multiple points. Now, so Guruji would tell that listening to birds will help you get to that level. But for me, as I couldn't go again out, I asked Guruji, if it's possible to put the recording of a bird sanctuary and try. So then he said, why don't you try it? And it really worked very well for me. And another technique which Guruma had taught is the Bhutajaya meditation. It was like a magic pill for me, because that time the awareness was increasing, but it wasn't so strong that I'll not get carried away by anything. So whenever by mistake, or sometimes I get carried away by what's happening outside, then that was a meditation where you balance all the elements within you, and then that state will again, you'll get to that state only, the calm state, the vibrant state. So whenever I would do that, I would come back to normal. Suppose now I had to give a talk, for example. So when I do that, then whatever I'm facing, I will come back to the original state that I'm supposed to be in. And one insight that Guruji said really was, I started taking it really sincerely, because that's where a lot of the times I was losing that state. So what Guruji said is, Guruji calls it PEVF, personal energetic vibrational frequency, where you will have to the vibration that you carry, that determines everything that you attract, uh, that will attract to you. So then Guruji started telling us that you be cautious. Now whatever is reducing your PEVF, you make a list and then stop doing that. So then I started doing that, and I started realizing that so many things were actually taking my vibrations down. And when that happens, at the time when it's happening, only if I become aware, then I won't simply get carried away by those. That helped me in a very big way. And from then on, sustaining that state at any part of the day is not that difficult. And this is when I also met Anurag sir, Anurag Sahai. So he is also one of the students of Guruji. And this time, so Anurag sir showed me how to visit past lives, and that time it also opened up on how to see your past lives and all of that. And his coaching methods helped me release a lot of emotional issues that I was carrying in the very first session itself. And at that time, even in Kashmir Shaivism, Guruma was telling, when you visit past life, you will have to visit not just for curiosity purpose. I mean, in fact, not for curiosity purpose. You will have to visit if there are some impressions that are bothering you. You can see from which life it has come, and when you see with that awareness, it will help you easily dissolve that in meditation itself. So for that purpose, I started using it, and so soon the transformation started happening. And when it came to November 2021, I started feeling so restless that, okay, almost 1 year I had learned from Guruji and Guruma online, but I wanted to meet them. Now, again, as everything else, I was always concerned about what will happen to travel. How will I go meet them? I'm in Bangalore, they're in Thane. So this was the time when our Guru Bandhus who are in RPS group, one of our Guru Bandhu, Uma Devi, so she said she wants to attend I didn't even tell her that I want to meet Guruji and Guruma, but she only called me one day and said, oh, I want to attend sound healing session. So then it was too good to be true. Then I thought, okay, let me not, start thinking that really I'm going there. We'll see how situation shapes up. And then finally we all decided to go, and it happened that uh, finally I was at Guruji and Guruma's house, and that was like, I cannot even describe those 3 days in words, because the first time when Guruji gave me Shaktipat, it was so intense that when I'm standing on the ground itself, I feel that my foot is firmly rooted onto the ground. That energy was so intense, and it felt so healing from within that I cannot even describe in words. And the love that I received at that time, there were so many emotions that needed to be addressed. So every time when they gave me that kind of love, I felt heart chakra opening and so many emotions were coming out. In fact, I knew that Guruji knows it very well anyway. I'm like an open book, so I will fully surrender and go with whatever is there. That part I already knew well even before I went there. And there were slight patterns that were there. So, firstly, I tried to address these myself, as in I tried to watch them, but they wouldn't go away. So somehow I would feel I'm slightly better than the others. That was very subtle. But that all started from school days. Back then they were very helpful, that pattern, because I escaped from a lot of bullying and so many things. Though I couldn't see, everybody wanted to be with me because I was a good student. Now if there's a quiz, everyone wants me to be in their group because I can answer. At least that way I can escape so much of turmoil which I had to go through otherwise. But that was not helpful in any way in my spiritual journey. So that pattern, and the other pattern was, slight doership that's there. I'm doing something and something's happening, that. And even judging, it had reduced then, but it was still there little bit. So when I went to Guruji and Guruma, I just brought all of these to my intention, because whatever I do, they are not going away. And then just by being with Guruji, these things, I don't know how they vanished. I mean, after I came back, automatically things were much, much better than before. So actually, I went for the sound healing session, and after Guruji gave me this sound healing for anxiety. So before that, every day, even before I wake up itself, in the subconscious state, I could start seeing the dreams, and even in that, I feel anxious. When I wake up, I'm fully anxious. The day has just started. So throughout, I would be anxious for all the challenges, all because of all the challenges that I mentioned. So somehow after that sound healing session, the anxiety reduced, I should say 90%. And the one session that was there, which I was actually waiting for very long. In fact, I had messaged Guruji that, Guruji, I had heard about Akashic reading. So Guruji said the time has not come. Now wait for some more time. I'll tell you when the time comes, is what Guruji had said. But I was so happy when that day Guruji said, okay, day after tomorrow we will get the Akashic, we will do the Akashic records. And then I didn't know what to look forward to, but I was very happy because I was waiting for it. Now in the Akashic records, Guruji can see the past, present, and the future and everything, because everything is happening in the now when you log on to the higher dimensions. So um, here, this the time Guruji said this is the day where you should consider it as a rebirth, and Babaji is blessing you. And a lot of situations that were bothering you will not bother you anymore. People will start changing towards you. So I knew that lot of troubles that I had are being taken away by the Master's grace. And one thing that got revealed at that time was my life mission. So I was already, as I told you, working at Vision Empower to make STEM education accessible. But Guruji told me that my life mission was also to give motivational speeches. I have to inspire people. That was my mission. And if I do it through speech, now inspiring can happen through different ways. but Guruji tells exactly what will give you that kind of a success and what will liberate you. That's the main thing, because time and again Guruji stresses that if we want to make this life the last lifetime, then we'll have to find our mission and work towards it. So only if you know that mission, then success will follow naturally. So when I got to know that motivational speaking is my life mission, unnecessary worries actually dropped. I was not sure what exactly to be done, and as I also told you, I had a lot of worries about the future and all of that. Lot of clarity came on those lines as well when Guruji told me much more about what's going to happen in future. So a lot of clarity came and unnecessary worry had dropped. And after coming home is when I started experiencing you know travel to Rishi Loka and other higher dimensions during meditation and all of that. Actually, through Master's love, for me, lots and lots of healing happened. I forget the death urge. I mean, I started not only feeling like living, but living to the fullest. And energy, somehow I felt, something was missing. Always I would feel that. So energy started integrating, and somehow I felt whole. And till then, whatever interest I didn't have, for example, till then I would, whenever any event would happen, I wouldn't want to take pictures. I would say, okay, who is going to see them? But now I take all the pictures because I can give it to the master. So, and I try so many new things every time because I know that they're always there. And anyway, I can try even if I succeed, even if I fail, they will love me unconditionally. So that feeling that no one's there, that started decreasing. And I don't know, life started transforming in a big way because of all the love and grace that masters gave me. And once when I was attending this course, so when I was attending this course of Secrets of Immortality, again which Guruji had conducted, in one of the sessions Guruji casually mentioned, uh, do you Guruji mentioned about Yogiraj Amar Jyoti ji and said that he's a master who is living in the body for more than 300 years, so we'll all go meet him. Then naturally first question in my mind at that time will come is that how will I go? And Guruji said it's going to happen and we all are going to meet him. So that was the time when I wanted to very badly meet him, but I didn't know when and how it's going to happen. So that happened immediately after 3 months after I came back from visiting Guruji and Guruma. So we all went to Palampur, all of us. For me, it was such a bliss because all my masters were there. Guruji was there, Guruma was there, RPA was there, everybody was there. And when I met Yogiraj Amar Jyoti ji, see, when we go to meet somebody for the first time, usually people ask you from where are you, your name and everything. But this time it was so different. The first question I was asked is, how are you? So, you know, like the familiarity that master has about us, that everything the master knows about us, that was already known. So I felt something really different, and the love field was something that cannot be described in words. And there would be some fragrance that would be there wherever Yogiraj Amar Jyoti ji is walking. So for me, it was easy to know this is where exactly he is because of the fragrance. And the very first day itself, he gave me a kiss and a hug, kiss on my third eye and the hug. So that was then I really felt okay, the purpose of my visit is over. It was that kind of a feeling where something starts dissolving, something starts merging, that kind of a feeling. And then is when in that time itself, RPA gave me my spiritual name, Vidya Purna Vimashini, in that camp on the third day before we came back, holy day. We actually went during the holy time. And then I met Brahma Prakash Gorsar, because I mean I already had met him earlier because he would attend a lot of Guruji and Guruma sessions. And that's when Guruma also recommended that I attend the Guru Gita sessions, which sir is conducting. And when I joined these sessions, all that I could experience right from start to end is immense love for the masters. So then I started wondering, am I missing on to anything? Like, because there's so many insights and all that, what's happening? So sir said, you don't bother. This is the experience that you should have and you are having. So it's good. And I attended also a few of these sound meditation sessions. And finally, we got to meet during the recent trauma healing session that was conducted by Guruji. So, material success again was something that Guruji always emphasized on, because Guruji said that spiritual and material growth should happen in parallel. We always were encouraged to follow the enlightened billionaire path, like Lord Krishna or Janak or people like that, who were 100% spiritually evolved and materially also 100% abundant. And because this was, I had met the masters early on and I didn't have any previous conditionings about spirituality. I didn't even know at that time that okay, a lot of people are conditioned to not to follow only this, like a lot of people feel that material abundance is not needed on the spiritual path. So this is the time, just recently the last year, um, I attended the 1 year program that was conducted on cybernetics by Guruji, where cybernetics is the science of success, and where we learned actual business strategies and business skills and everything that is needed for the business to succeed. And even that time I couldn't start implementing immediately, because whenever I wanted to start, there was so much inner turmoil that all that I could do is to observe and sit. Now I would ask the same question on what is to be done, and Guruji told me so many times very patiently that these things are to be done, especially from my perspective, because if I were to travel and give a speech, now I need somebody to travel with me. So Guruji had told that you need to have an assistant who will help you travel. So some of these which were appropriate for me is what Guruji had told me. So I knew these things, but I was not able to immediately implement. But I knew if I'm with Guruji, one or the other day it will happen by itself, even if I'm not able to do it by myself. So just being with the masters, I picked up those vibrations, and somehow abundance consciousness started becoming a reality. Lots of material success started to follow, and there were lots of recognition and awards in the external world that were happening. And parallelly, a lot of insight spiritually also started happening, because I attended this lot of scriptural learning. The first one was about Shiv Sutras. So in that, few insights still I remember very well, because at that time I needed them the most. One thing I learned is not to negate anything in the creation, and I should enjoy everything. Somehow I had felt that, is the like all these awards and recognitions and everything, is it actually deviating me from the path, or is it a hindrance? And somehow I was not able to enjoy all of these fully, food, travel, and all of this recognition and all of that fully. Somehow I would feel that slightly that maybe it is a hindrance. But after those sessions, I really started enjoying all of these to the fullest. I would enjoy both growing spiritually and materially. And the other sutra, in one of the sutras, the insight was that how we ourselves create our reality. That was so powerful for me, because suppose the day I think, look now, somebody who actually shouldn't be so kind to me, how are they kind to me? Then the very same day something will happen and they will not be kind to me. So then I start realizing, the moment you think of something, it starts becoming the reality. So I started really cautiously manifesting what I wanted after those sessions. And after that, we also learned lots of other scriptures from Guruji and Guruma. This Yog Sutras and Tripura Rahasya and Spandakarikas, all of these. they actually deepened the awareness, they increased the awareness and helped more and more to sustain that state. So recently, I also attended this trauma healing camp that was conducted by Guruji again in a miraculous way. I wasn't sure till the last few days before I had to leave whether I'm really going there or not. But this time, I think emotions were sufficiently cleansed. So too much love from the masters actually created so much joy within, and I was feeling very happy throughout. And at the same time, a lot of cleansing was happening, and a lot of toxins that I had carried all along were being released. And after coming back, now I realized what a permanent change it has been, because now I've been very more inward. And whatever I was telling that I'm not able to implement all of these for some reason. So the implementation of life mission also was so natural, is so natural now, and purely through grace, even without advertising, without anything much, because I've just started on the journey of motivational speaking. But somehow there have been opportunities to speak at different events, and everything is happening because of the grace. And once when at one time, I don't remember which exact month, but Guruji and Guruma and RP, all three of them were in the US. Then I thought I shouldn't disturb them much, but I would get some doubt. And that's when once I wrote to again Guruji's student Premanand Shivkavi, because he would share a lot of insights which had immensely benefited me. Then I wrote to him saying that I have these queries, and since then he patiently addresses some of the issues that I face in terms of awareness development and anything that I need on the spiritual front. So, and even whatever images he posts, so he gives me the text part of it so that I'll be able to read and I don't miss out on a lot of these insight, which has again been really helpful for my awareness development. So, yeah, so this is all I wanted to share. Now, all that I did for me, which helped me, was whatever Master said, I followed it sincerely. And somehow, love and surrender to the Masters happened by on its own. And again and again, Guruji would stress on the life mission. In fact, I attended the Ikigai session where Guruji said, Ikigai is the reason for being. Now, when you find something um, where the intersection of what you love and what the world can pay you for and what the world needs, and also your uniqueness or talents, all of these come together, then it's the ikigai. But in my case, I really didn't have to do all of these exercises to find it. Guruji told me my life mission. But at the same time, I think life mission is a much more deeper thing which will actually help you get liberated. And once I found my life mission, both in terms of vision and power, helping other visually impaired students and motivational speaking, I think success comes by itself. So we just have to walk the path. And because I was good at so many different things, I could sing, I was good at other things also. But if I would have gone on that, followed something on those lines, I think it would have been really difficult, because that was not my life mission. So with uh, with the grace of the masters, I really feel anything and everything can happen, and both material and spiritual growth can be a reality. This is all I had to share. Now I could at least narrate whatever I experienced spiritually, but materially I cannot capture those in words. So I had a video that maybe if there is time, God sir can share. And all of these also happened after meeting the masters. So it's just grace that helped me even in material growth.
I will share that with them. Just, I think it has disappeared. I have to. It's a short movie clip which sort of tells us about Vidya's journey. And she has been felicitated and honored by.
नहीं समझ देखा है ना तो छोड़ दो जाने दो बड़ा मुश्किल है यार
Please don't talk in between, Kalyan Chand. Can everyone see this?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can see it. We can see it.
Okay, so
Yes.
I'm going to play.
दृष्टिबाधित छात्रों के लिए शिक्षा को सुगम्य बनाने के लिए दंडी टेक्नोलॉजी की सरल स्थापना भी की। सुश्री विद्या बाई बेंगलुरु।
Co-founders of Vision Empowered, which aims to make science and math and technology related courses accessible to children with visual impairments.
Times are changing. Vidya, a young woman in India, is helping thousands of visually impaired students, most of them girls, to develop digital skills, vital digital skills, and to succeed in science, technology, engineering, and math.
So here you saw this short clip, and you could see Vidya being honored and felicitated at different national and international fora. And Vidya is a good singer. So we can end with a bhajan from her, but before that I would like anyone who wants to ask her a question or tell her something that they really enjoy, how much they enjoyed being at this session. So just unmute yourself and you can speak to her. Love, I will put the spotlight on you. Yes, go ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Love is joining us from Australia, Vidya, just for your information. Yeah, go ahead.
I really like your confidence, Vidya. That's all I wanted to say. Did you guys hear what I said?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Vidya
Thank
is
you.
smiling, so she has heard you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, love.
I am Sushil.
Just a moment, please. Sushil, I will pin you. Can you start your video, Sushil?
Yes. I am Sushil Pudar. Just one line to Vidya.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. Today I have a satisfaction of meeting a very wonderful soul of this earth. Thank you so much for coming across our lives today. Thank you, Vidya. And wish you all the best for all your future endeavors and whatever you want to pursue in your life.
Thank you, Sushil. And Sushil is going to be one of our speakers in the next week. Yes, anybody else? Induji? Yes?
Yeah.
Just.
May I speak?
Yes, please go ahead.
I want to say, Vidya ji, the truly mesmerizing talk. I have been glued absolutely to every word that you spoke. So inspiring. It's beyond understanding that so much one can achieve. I don't know what we people are doing or what am I doing. I really don't know. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best. Thank you. And I hope I get to meet you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Induji. Yes, General Saab, please go ahead.
Firstly, thank God, sir, for picking up gems as always you do. And Vidya, the name is Vidya, implying knowledge. And I think the Guru has rightly picked her up and told her that she has so lot of wisdom within her, and that wisdom has to be spread. And today her talk was nothing but taking it right from the core of the heart and making us understand small little nitty-gritties of life. How fortunate are we to meet you. I was not to come for this session today, and I've been missing out on a lot many sessions of passing with my daughter. There was a marriage at home and all. But this particular meeting was a chance meeting that I was to come. It just accidentally happened. And I'm so very grateful to Guruji, to Gorsa, for having got us to connect to you. You wouldn't know what you have done today. I can show you a lot of listeners are touched to the core, and you're going to bring a change in their thoughts as we go along. Definitely, a lot of change is going to come within me, because there's a lot of introspection I'm going to be doing after having listened to you. Thank you, Vidya. Vidya, you truly have been named rightly, because you are nothing but pure wisdom. You are God's child. Thank you very much.
Vidya, you want to respond?
Sure.
Your smile says it all. Thank you, General Saab. Yes, Vatsala, please go ahead.
Miss Vidya, you today I discovered what a truly empowered and enlightened person is. You typify everything that is empowered and everything that is enlightened. You are such a luminous presence, and as General Kundra said, I am sure lots of change is coming into many people's lives through you. You are made an instrument by the masters. So it's a wonderful session. We feel blessed in having you here. Thank you, Gaur sir, and thank you, Vidya, for a wonderful session. Very uplifting.
Thank you, Vatsala.
I would also like to thank Guru Nirmalji for having blessed her to actually get us here. And I've had session with Dr. Nirmal, and I've been one of the fortunate ones. And whoever hasn't been there, please, you'll miss something in life if you don't go there. go and meet him, go and follow his courses or be part of the courses. I'm telling you, they're transformational. And Vidya is one live example right in front of us, what Guruji Nirmalji has done to her and to all of us. Thank you.
Anybody else? No?
Can I speak? Shall I?
Uma Devi, where is Uma Devi? She had raised her hand.
Hello.
Yes. Nice to see you.
Namaste, namaste.
Namaste.
I want to say deep gratitude to all the masters. And I want to say, I love you, Vidya. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Uma Devi is the one who really takes care of her, takes her along to Guruji. So wonderful. So this is how it works, Vidya was very conscious about asking for help from people. And when the masters appear in one's life and you just open up, then you are not afraid to ask, and the help arrives just like that. So it's a living example. Thank you, Mandevi.
Now, one last point. Miss Vidya's speech is what Tuesday Gathering stands for.
Yes. We are all seekers.
All the value.
We are all seekers.
Yes.
And joined by a common search. Of course, each one is searching in his or her own way. But what Vidya spoke today, what really stood out for me as a listener, in Gita, when the teaching was given, Arjuna said, Karishye vachanam tava. I shall do thy bidding. So in Vidya, we have the Arjun here. Whatever the masters have said, she has really practiced that. And that is why in such a short time, she has made so much progress. And this is the living example. So here is something that each one of us can take home. How to be a disciple. Because the masters are there, they keep dropping all these gems. But it is for each one of us to pick up those gems and to use them, make them a part of our life, and change our lives. And spiritual growth is about transformation. And when that transformation happens, then it's a multidimensional growth. So the world and spirituality, both areas, both dimensions are included there. So if there are some people who have written messages for Vidya, General Saab had said in the beginning itself, outstanding, and Shalini Vashish said for me also. Shalini, you want to say something? Are you there?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to say thank you so much, Vidya. I mean, you are blessed for sure, but listening to you was a very big blessing, And I've never heard anybody speaking so beautifully from her heart. So thank you so much. And you are an inspiration for all of us. Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you so much.
And I hope everything is fine in Turkey, Shalini?
Yes, sir. Everything is, the affected areas are still not in very good shape because the tremors kept happening for almost 10 days. But it's getting slightly better. A lot of people have moved to Istanbul, especially Syrian people. So we are now in a smaller group. We are going and serving them whatever comes whenever it comes.
Okay.
Like
Then that's wonderful.
thank you.
Thank you. So, and
Hello.
Madhu Mehra says, a wonderful session. God bless Vidya. Anybody else wants to say something?
Just one
Yes.
sentence I wanted to say.
Please go ahead.
For me, I mean, everything, so much has been said, and I feel all of this also is what I would like to say. Just to add one small point is that, today I got to see a world of your heart, the world inside you through your talk. And it has been very, very, very profoundly inspiring for me. Thank you, Vidya.
Thank you, Vidya. And we'll just end with this short prayer. And thank you everyone for being here. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti